So here are my 3 layers. I've got my bottom blanket, been rolled up, my wadding that goes inside, and the top layer. So I just need to put them together. However, I need to do it outside, and at the moment it's been a bit rainy, so I need to make sure I do it when it's a nice day. So I'm going to use the method of the pool noodle method, and I've got this 501 glue spray, and I've got my quilting pins. So my quilting pins are got a slight bend in them. So I'm going to start. I've laid it out on the table. I'm doing it in the garden because obviously the glue is going to be too much inside. I'm going to make sure it's nice and smooth, and I'm going to do it really lightly so I don't put a lot of glue on. So that's a bit, so I'll do that on that, and then I'm going to smooth down the wadding over the backing material. So the backing material is actually, face, the good side face down, and then I'm going to spray this lightly.
Oh yes.
And then put,
very nice.
And then put this on.
Oh.
Okay. I'm just going to try and smooth this as much as I can. And then I'm just going to put my pins in each square. So I've put something on there so it doesn't catch on the, get dirty. I'm just going to put pins in like that. I'll do the pins up after. I'm going to do each square like that. So I'm going to do that all the way along, but this time I'm going to obviously have to move that and spray that way and go that way. So I'll come back to you in a minute and show you when I've pinned all this, how I do that bit. So I have pinned the first row and I've sprayed it. So I'm going to start making sure everything's smoothed out here, and I'm going to spray this, do the same with this, spray this and then spray that, and I'm just going to keep spraying as I go down until everything is together. So where it's draping down now, I'm going to start to just fold this over a bit. Just so I can pull it down without it hitting the floor, because I really don't want it to get dirty. Okay, so I have now sprayed it and I've pinned as much as I can. I needed to get more pins, but that's fine. And I've got this big overhang of fabric here, so I'm probably just going to cut that off. I've cut a bit off the end there, cut a bit off there, and then roll it up, and that will be ready for me to quilt on my machine. Thank you. I have now got my walking foot on my machine, so I'm now able to start quilting my quilt. So what I've done is I've unravelled it a little bit this side and this side, and I'm going to start doing a centre line. So I'm going to start with this line here, and I'm going to literally go, the first line I'm going to go through there, so it binds it all together, and then I'm going to take it from there. So I will come back to you. So before I start, what I've done is I've fed all this through and I've rolled all this up. So I've got like access there, and I've got a full table. I'm doing this in my dining room, and I'm going to literally follow this line here to start with, and then I'll probably do these other lines after. But it's always best to start a quilt in the middle, so then you won't get all the puckers. And what I'm going to do as I go along, I'm just going to make sure it's still all smoothed out, and I'm also going to make sure the back's smoothed out as I go too. So I have now finished doing the bits I need to do, and I'm now going to put the binding strip on. So this is my binding strip. So I'm going to pin it. I'm going to pin it. Oops. I'm going to start pinning it here. I'm going to pin it there, and then I'm going to sew along there, and then I can fold it over. I'll show you. Okay, so I've now got the bias binding on. I've pinned it all the way round, and now I'm just going to sew all the way around, and I'll show you when I come to the corners. Okay, so I'm just coming to the corner. I'm just going to move it to here. I'm just going to take this pin out. Just pop that in there. And I'm going to take it up to there. And then I'm going to do a back stitch and forward a bit. When my machine wants to work. Right, I'm going to lift that up. I'm going to turn that round like that. I'll leave that in there, I can get it afterwards. Put that back underneath. Right, and then I'm going to, hold on, do a bit of a back stitch. And then when I get down here a bit, you can see the corners there, so when I can do it, oh, I might need to take it up a bit, it will flip out. So that's the corner. Okay, so I'm just coming up to this bit here, so I need to join these two pieces together. So I've stopped here. I'm just going to backtrack a bit and then go forward. Lift that up and take that off. So I basically need to do it there. So I've got my little bit here. Let me get a pin. I'm just going to pin that. So fiddly, hold on. Pin that there. So what I need to do now is sew across there. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I have to make sure they're both flat and aligned. Oops, let me just cut that piece off. Right. Oh, this quilt is quite heavy as well. Obviously I don't want to sew over my pin, but I need to make sure I'm on that line. Hold on. So the line is about there where the pin is. Just put that down and take the pin out because I don't want to go over the pin. And make sure both these bits are flat. I'm going to start off with just do a straight line there, back tack, and then I'm going to take that out. Right, let me just cut these bits of cotton away, and then what should happen is that should sit, I'll cut that bit off, that should sit flat, and then we've got our seam. So let me just cut this bit off here like that, and then I can carry on stitching along there. So the binding has now been sewn on, and all I need to do is flip it over, which I'll show you what I do. I'm going to pin it all, and then I'm going to hand sew it to the front. Okay, so I'm now going to stitch by hand the binding on the right side. So the back side's all been done by the machine, and I'm now going to do this. So, oops, let me just finish this stitch and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I've got a tiny bit there, and I'm trying to do it in the same colour. I'm going to pick up this bit here, and I'm not going in the back at all. And then I'll pick up a tiny bit of the binding, and I'll bring that. So all you can see is like really teeny weeny stitches, and I'll try and bury them right down there so they're invisible. So you can see I've already done the corner there. You can see the tiny weeny stitches if you look really close to it, but from afar it doesn't look like that. And I'm going to do that all the way round, and once that's done I'll show you the finished product.